But I'm curious, like when it comes to this organization of vampires, like how did you kind of come up with like that concept of the organization and maybe like some of the things that they would do or not do?
Because working in Korea was difficult. I mean, the organization is called the Guanlo, which means government, and they have, they have all these rules and regulations, and sometimes it just often feels like you're trying to like the thing, like if you have a task, they give you a task, but then like there's all these stipulations that seem to actually make that task so much more difficult to achieve. And that's actually where it came from. I mean, again, if anyone's ever had like a really bad job, particularly like a job that deals with bureaucracy, bureaucracy, then they would probably understand what it's like when you just have. I mean, you're a teacher, so I think you probably do
Right.
understand. I mean, like
Oh, totally.
all these rules, and you're like, you're like, look, if we do it this way, it becomes so much easier. But unfortunately, there's this massive structure out there that seems to be getting in your way. And so that's actually how I came up with the Guanlo. It's just like this massive
Cool.
this massive government like agency that just keeps getting in your way.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's totally true because like I had somebody that was like trying to like give a bunch of stuff to my kids and hope I should say this on air, but yeah, so they're trying to donate like it was like safety goggles, right? I work at a tech school, so and they like 100 pair, and I'm like, oh, you don't want anything for them? They're like, nope, you work with kids, you guys can use them, right? I'm like, yeah, we can use them in the shop all the time, and I was like, well, I have to send you this form because we had just got an email. I'm like, I have to send you this form, and then they're like, what do you mean? And like, I don't want to fill out paperwork. Like, I just want to donate them. So eventually, they just like ended up here magically. But yeah, it was so they're like, I don't want to like no, they're like, I don't want a tax write-off. I don't want anything. I just want to give these to your students that can use them. And they've been like super helpful. But yeah, somebody asked me, I was like, yeah, they just showed up one day. Like, I don't know. And I always think of like Eddie Murphy from Beverly Hills Cop where they fall off the back of the truck, I guess, and yeah, they just ended up here. And yeah, it was really interesting. But I totally get that because yeah, there's so many times you're just like, oh, like we're supposed to be doing this thing, but all the red tape in between, really makes it so people don't want to do that thing. So I think that's a really cool use of that frustration is to write about it. So that sounds awesome. But I do have a question about, in terms of that story, like I think like the bottom part of that blurb is amazing. So when like your main character, right, when he enlists the services of a serial killer turned vampire, how'd you come up with that aspect? Because that is like that just sounds like an amazing character right there.
Yeah, Harry actually is. Her name is Harry. And then how I came up with it, the thing is that when I wrote Butchers, the main character was supposed to be the 17-year-old girl called Sammy. Uh, but when people read Butchers, they latch, and Harry is also in this, is like another female character. They latched onto her because she was so rebellious and so uh, crazy. And people who read it just really found her to be the most engaging aspect of Butchers. And so as a result, I mean, I don't know what I was going to do for the sequel, but after I saw the reaction, I was like, okay. So the Gray Man Smoking Shadows actually follows Harry's story and how she became the way she did, and then she has like a revenge arc that she's trying to accomplish. And I'm always just like, if you're writing something and then people really identify with it, or really really like it, then just keep using it, keep going with it. And that's how she ended up in the Solar Days because I mean, people really like her, and want people to enjoy the book, and that's why she's there.
That's cool. That is, I think that's a great, I think that's great advice though. If you have a character that people are really enjoying, like why not? Like I feel like I really like a lot of like TV shows or movies, where they explain how they did those things, whether even if it's not the director's cut, like the original Karate Kid, like learning about all the things that the director did to keep like Daniel and like all the other characters separate. So they had that psyche, right, that they trained together. And I feel like it really came out in the movie, right? So I love hearing about things like that. So I think it's cool for people to really think about that when it comes to characters, and I like learning about how people, really do those kind of things. So I think you saying that people really like this character. And I think that's like I've heard of a lot of TV shows where they're like, oh, this character was supposed to be a one-off, but people like them so much. That's pretty much how Urkel happened, right? Like he was supposed to be in a couple episodes, and people really liked his character on Family Matters, and they kept him. And like Step by Step back in the day, like the cousin Cody, he was only supposed to be on a couple episodes. People really liked him. He was my favorite character. So I think it's interesting for you to say that I had this really interesting character that people liked, and I'm just going to continue to use that character to create, better stories. So I think that's like really, really valuable advice.